What's up, everybody? I'm Preston Cranmer back here for episode 12 of the Pitside podcast with my good buddy Roger Craig. Tonight we're going to talk to Kevin Fry. We're going to get into our upcoming week at Weed Sport, which is probably going to be a little bit dangerous, and we'll talk about the end of the season as we're kind of closing out our fall season and moving into the winter season. Look forward to it.
Welcome to the Pitside Podcast, where we discuss the latest news and developments in the GForce Racing League, as well as other racing news inside and out of iRacing. Now here's your hosts, the A-Lit Outlaw, Preston Cranmer, and Roger, the Bassman Craig.
So we're ready to go here. So it's been a pretty chaotic week, I think, with stuff going on in the background and
for sure.
prepping for next season, and just there's a lot going on. I think it's one of those things a lot of people don't see, but there's always a lot going on, but sometimes it seems like more than others.
This week's been crazy, frustrating, and stuff that people don't know what's going on. But anyways,
I think Roger still got a little case of the giggles because we just had about 5 outtakes that we did trying to lead into the show. So we'll post those at the end of the episode. It's been a week of outtakes. Maybe that's the theme of week 8 or 9, whatever this is. I went to race Elite last night, so our team's been trying to practice. We have a handful of guys that are running our midgets division. Terry's competing for the championship, which is exciting. But we try to practice for the track that week right at the 8 o'clock hour to prep for those of us that are in Elite. And so it was just me this week, but and then that way we have some extra practice when we do a second practice before the end of the week, getting prepped for Monday, which is the same track. So we're prepping for Weed Sport this week, and I've run very few laps there, but enough to know the track. Not real excited about it, especially when I was the lone racer and worried about my setups because that's not my strong suit. So I had a little bit of an uh-oh. I sat down about 8:15. I was late to practice, which was just me. But I sat down to practice about 45 minutes before the race. I go to start my rig. Everything's doing fine. Put the headset on. Nothing. And so I was getting an error from the Steam VR that there was no... Because the Vive, it's not like the Oculus. Anybody running the Oculus knows you don't have to have the tracking station mounted somewhere. The Vive, you have to have a tracking station, and my tracking station was completely offline. It's got looks like 9 red lights and a green light on the top. And I looked up at it, nothing there. And I realized about 45 minutes before, I had gone up in the attic to get Christmas decorations down, and when I first set this up, I said, well, I do this fancy, and I ran power out of the attic down to the tracking station. It's in the corner of the room. So any VR game you can play in the entirety of this room, and I guess I had hit the surge protector. So, that's no big deal, right? You'll just go up in the attic and turn the surge protector back in, plug it back in, whatever happened, not a big deal. Well, the problem is it's 8:15, and Eli's gone to bed about 20 minutes before, and the pull down to the attic is in Eli's room. So I had to sneak in. He wasn't asleep yet. He was very curious. He had been up in the attic with me earlier. He likes doing that over at Dad's house too. So he for whatever reason, when we go up there, he calls it a castle, which we all thought was funny. So he just stood there in his crib and watched me go up in the attic. But Penny Lee was less than pleased that I was going in after 8 o'clock. So, anyway. Been a chaotic week. A week of outtakes, I think, is a fair way to sum this week.
Yeah, the week of outtakes. That's probably a good way to sum it up, man.
Well, so not an outtake, although I will say I tried to record this next interview from a different location. We have a bar that my dad and I built in the dining room we call the Pewter Moose. And so I tried to record sitting at the bar tonight, and I think I had some technical difficulties. So you'll see in the next interview. I think the audio was okay, but Roger did most of the talking like usual anyway.
It doesn't matter, yeah. Kevin and I were good, so it's all good.
Yeah, between the two of those guys, you couldn't really shut them up. So we'll get over there. It's about a 30-minute long interview. No surprise there. So we'll jump over there now and talk to Kevin Fry, and Roger and I'll come back in a few minutes and talk about some of the other stuff we've got going on.
Yeah, it's a great interview. So we're here. I've been really excited about the chance here to talk to this guy, Kevin Fry. Welcome to the show. We're really glad you took the time in your busy schedule to sit down with us.
Yeah, it's definitely hectic for sure. Running an auto parts store and doing all the scheduling for ASCS, my region deal. So it's definitely hectic. But hey, I wouldn't ask for anything else.
So, I had this list on. I had a few things written down, and the last one has got to be the first one, and that was your racing rig. So, probably some people are probably sitting here looking at it like, this guy drives a real sprint car. But folks, this is his rig. Like, this is the best kick-ass rig I've ever seen. So, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, a couple of buddies I put on Facebook. I said, hey, I'm looking for a sprint car chassis. I had several offers saying, hey, come get mine. But they were all like in Dallas area, which is about another hour and a half or so from me. And one of my buddies texted me and said, hey, I got an old sprint car chassis, but it's tweaked quite a bit. And I said, I really don't care. I'm fixing to chop it up anyway. So I'll come get it. And he let me have it. And painted it up and pretty much made it just like a real sprint car, torque tube in the middle of it, and steering box, gas, brake pedal.
Turn it around for us and show us the rest of the stuff here, because this is just unbelievable. And I've seen pictures of it on Facebook, but this it's really awesome.
That is nuts. How big a screen is that you got there?
It's a 31-inch curved TV.
Okay.
And then my VR.
Oh, okay. So you're in VR too.
Yeah.
Look at that, eh?
Now, do you have a wing slider in there?
Not as of yet. I'm working on one.
Do you plan on putting the wing on top?
No, I don't have enough room for that. The wife would actually kill me if I did that.
That's just absolutely awesome.
We share this room together because from 8 to 5, this is her office, and then when she has like conference calls and this and that, her coworkers say, "What the
does she do them from the rig?"
Yeah,
they're like, "What the fuck is behind you?" Like. And she has to explain it, like what the heck is a sprint car? Because most of these people that she talks to, she's like, what's a sprint car? So they have to go and find the pictures of it and this and that. So it's definitely a piece to talk about for sure.
You don't have a tail tank on that, do you?
Yes, I do.
Oh no! There he is. Okay.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, I got a tail tank on the back of it. It's fully like a full-fledged sprint car. It's just the only thing it doesn't have is the front steering box and the motor.
Oh, I was just going to ask you if it was a 305 or 360, but you just answered.
It's a 410, sir.
So, and that
do you have numbers on the tank?
I do not. I took them off, and I was going to put my own numbers on there. Haven't had time to do it yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we'll have to have another follow-up when you finish the car evidently, and you've got the levers.
Yeah, because I still want to put some body panels on here to make it look better, look more sleek.
Are you going to make it so you can hardly bloody well get in and out of it?
I'm gonna. Well, no, because I'm not very skinny, so that's not gonna happen.
I can't get in and out of my rig now. I can't imagine.
I have to curl up like I'm in a fetal position, but to get in here because of the sensors and everything else in here, but. It's pretty comfortable. I'm in here for at least, I don't know, a good 4 or 5 hours every night, pretty much. So
me too. I race for about the first hour and then have to convince myself to get out for the next 3.
Right.
Well, my My problem is I look at you. It looks like when you're in, and you're not getting out. Where when you got plumbing, 70-year-old plumbing, you got to get out of that rig pretty quick.
You got to get out pretty quick. Yeah. Definitely. You're definitely not getting out fairly quickly, because if you're in a fire or whatever, then yeah, you're not getting out pretty quick unless it's to the top.
So do you race much else other than sprint cars, or is that predominantly what you're running?
No, that's pretty much what I dominantly run. Some of my teammates at BFS and the firm, they've trying to convince us to run a little bit better. I mean, a little bit more variety of cars and modifieds and late models, but we always try to keep up with the sprint cars. So with this. With our deal with Major's Garage, with the setups, we pretty much dominantly going with sprint cars. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you were going to be needing to add a late model in the room there, or what was going on.
That was the talk, adding another one in here, but I don't have much room left.
Yeah. To me, that would be more of a convincing problem than a room problem, because even if I had the room, there's no way I could get that past the boss.
Right. Yeah. That's every time I add something to the wall, I don't know if y'all can see this or not. Probably not. Let me flip it around. This is the newest addition to the Wall of Fame, which is my old paint scheme for my sprint car, but a guy made it for me. And it turned out pretty kick-ass.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The one thing I'm missing from the one thing I see missing is there's no A&J plaques or trophies up there.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm missing, because I haven't done very well in my races, so I'm kind of sucking at that department there.
That's wow! It's an absolutely incredible rig. So thanks for the tour of that, because I do I had it as the last item to talk about, but it wasn't going to last that long when we're looking at it all the time. So that is absolutely beautiful. That's a great job. How long did it take you to do that?
About a week and a half. We're getting all the parts and all the stuff that I needed to get, and chopping it up and making it right, making it adjustable for me for this containment seat to fit in here. And it took about a week and a half or so. A buddy of mine helped me build it, Andy Carter and Casey Carter out of Ennis. They helped me build it because he had one himself, and I was like, you know what? I want to build one just like yours because this will look badass. So, and we kind of built it the same way as his, but I had to do a little bit minor tweaks to mine because mine, I'm a little bit bigger than he is. So,
how do you get the frame in the room?
That was a chore. I had it all built, ready to go. All I had to do was put my computer stuff into it. When I got it here, the hardest thing was to get it through the front door. It was just barely narrow enough to get through the front door. Everything else, I got 2 French doors back here, so it fit perfect in here, but the front door was going to be the challenge. This is what I was going to try to figure out, but it barely fit, so it worked all good.
Yeah.
So I gather that if it didn't fit, you were still going to find a way to make it in there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. If I had to take body panels back off, or I had to
trim off the door frame.
Yep. I had to chop off the brick a little bit to make it fit. That's what I'm going to do.
That's awesome.
Got a sprint car shaped hole in the front of your house.
That's right. What's that hole for? It'll be all right.
So, give us a little bit about your background. So, you work at a parts store. You're a manager there. Is that?
Yes, sir. I'm a manager for O'Reilly Auto Parts, and man, it's the most easiest job. I mean, comfortable job that I've ever had. It's awesome. I have awesome people behind me to look up to as well. It's just I can't ask for anything else. It's easygoing people. The only thing is the hard part is finding the right part, finding the good parts for the customers to water pump this and O2 sensors this and that. So that's about the only hard part, but part of the job.
So everybody knows you through our racing league and doing all your admitting. But that was just merely an extension of who you are. So you've been a flagman. How long have you been a flagman for?
I've been a flagman for about going on 17 years now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think you were that
I started
old.
in our local dirt track called Cowtown Speedway. I pretty much.
How old were you when you started doing that?
I was 17.
Wow. So if Cameron
16.
Thompson's listening to this, because Cameron Thompson's in the league and he's become the flagman at Flamborough Speedway, which is a pretty significant speedway. And Jacasa, he was flagging for their big race in September. So
oh, sweet.
Yeah. So that's about the age you started as well. That's cool.
Yeah. It's man, I love doing it. Like I've told you before, I love flagging different races, different tracks. I love going to different tracks, seeing how the track is laid out and different grooves and things like that. That's up in the flag stand. That's pretty much the eagle eye, and it is so cool to go to different tracks and see the view from the flag stand. I've posted a few videos last year on my Facebook page from the camera view from my helmet that I wear, and everybody's like, "Man, I've never known a flagman to be so busy up in the flag stand with watching the leaders and watching different cars, throughout the race, and keep track of the laps and keep track of, lap cars coming in and things like that." It's just, they're like, I didn't know it was be that busy for a flagman, and I'm like, I mean, it's easy for me because I've been doing it for so long, but it's just, people have a different perspective about it for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot more involved for sure than people would realize. I mean, you think about, because people think of NASCAR, which no disrespect to anybody there, but they've got somebody in their ear all the time telling them what to do. But it's not like that at the local track. It's there's a lot more responsibility.
Right. Yeah, and then with my duty of being a flagman and at the local track that I flag at week in and week out every Friday night is Heart of Texas Speedway in Waco. And Selby Holder, he's the promoter of the racetrack, and he's the race director, and I'm the flagman, and whatever, say if there's a call that's made, he backs me up what I say. Most tracks don't do that. But the tracks that I do go to, they do back up their flagman, and that's really good because that's their bird's eye view of the racetrack, of the races too as well.
So I want to stay on that subject, but there's a question here that so when you are admitting our races, basically our flagman, which view are you using? Are you using like camera 3? Or are you behind the racers?
I use them all. Camera 3, spectator, the drone view, the blimp view. I pretty much use them all, just trying to, because different tracks are different. You got different views, and it's sometimes like Knoxville, you're so far away on the spotter view, so you can't really tell what happened. So usually on Knoxville, I usually use the blimp mode or the drone view most of the time. Mostly on big tracks, I usually use that.
Do you adjust them at all, or you just basically leave them the way they're set?
There's a few times I had to adjust them just to catch, the whole field basically. Now, once the main comes, I usually focus on fourth or fifth and to the leader pretty much. So when they catch lap traffic, I can tell them, say, hey, lap whatever 031, leaders are coming, keep your pace.
747.
Well,
get out of the way.
So I want to back up just a touch, and I very much appreciate your perspective. But
absolutely,
the reason Roger asked you that question was because he got in trouble with our team at one point because he was spotting for us, and at the time was not doing a great job. He'll maintain he does a bad job all the time, but
the worst.
But he was doing a particularly terrible job, and he mentioned it's hard to see from TV3, and we were all like, "Why are you spot?" Yeah. Well, you can't. So it's all right as a race admin, and that's what he was hoping you would say. Well, I admin from TV3, but you can admin from there. You can't spot for a single driver from TV3. Use real chase or far chase. It's and so he was hoping that you were going to bail him out, and you didn't. So I appreciate that.
That's why I threw the TV3 in there. That's why. Okay, I got you, Roger. Okay.
I wasn't looking for.
He smiled when you said that too. He thought he was off the hook.
I see how
the other thing when you're spotting, I found, even when you're admitting, I mean, both of those positions, is that you should hit the fast forward just to make sure that when you've got out of your car, and you're telling the guys to tighten up, and they're already headed to a certain one.
They're already taking off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been there, done that before with my teammates too. I'm like, what? Hold on. Yeah, they just said green flag, and you're already on the back straightaway. And I'm like, hold on. Tap.
Yeah. Yeah, I spotted for Preston like that a couple of times, and he's not impressed.
So Roger claims poor spotter all the time. He's a fine spotter. He's just as good as anybody on our team.
Right.
No, I spot like I race.
The problem is you can't spot for a guy when he's throwing a slide job because there's just nothing you can do. It's up to him at that point. But
yeah, he can.
Lord knows I don't throw many of those.
Through. Move or be moved. That's what he's saying.
There you go.
Okay, let's change the subject back to that was just supposed to be a brief little sidebar, but
I was enjoying this.
Yeah, I bet you were. So when
I can tell he was enjoying it really good. I can tell.
Yeah. What tracks are you flagging at these days? The one in Waco?
Mostly is Waco on Friday nights. Saturday nights is pretty much my ASCS night. We usually travel to different tracks, but if I'm not doing that, then I'll be flagging at Big O in Ennis. That's where I usually flag at on Saturday nights if I'm not doing the ASCS thing.
So the ASCS, how far will you go to flag for that?
Well, I do my I'm the race director for the Lone Star region, and so I make try to schedule all the races around here in Texas, Oklahoma, and then the farthest I go is Louisiana. There's a dirt track out there called Dirt on the Rev, owned by Dylan Scott, country singer. Man, that place is just piece of artwork right there, fellas. If y'all have ever checked that out, y'all need to check it out. It's pretty kick-ass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I know I can't let this go without saying, the whole ASCS and my hero, I guess you could call him Dylan Westbrook.
Dylan,
I'm a big fan of, and I was talking to
Dylan's
Dylan.
An awesome kid.
He is, and I was talking to him just last weekend, and I was mentioning you coming up talking to him. I said, when you're down in Texas, you remember Kevin Fry? And yeah, I know Kevin, and he was talking about the first time you came up and said, Roger, and and I think he was trying to figure out how the hell is this.
How the hell do you know Roger from all the way up there?
Right? Yeah, so that's cool. That's awesome.
Just
when I went to his trailer that night,
world story. I mean, we have some of this from this league.
What's that?
What'd
you say?
No, I go ahead. I might be lagging out.
Oh, okay. The night that he came to Devil's Bowl to run, and he hit that white tire, and I told him that you need to stay off those white tires. He's like, "Yep, that's exactly what Roger would say." Yep. Yeah.
He can wheel a sprint car. That's for sure, man.
Absolutely. He was fast that night. It's just the track was first night, Friday night was pretty much hammered down. I mean, on a half-mile track, on a hammered-down track, you're not really going to pass that many cars being equal speed like that. And you're just going to hope to somebody else in front of you screws up or misses their marks or something. About the only way you're going to get around him. But Saturday night, he was doing good. And I think he finished fifth or sixth that night. So he did pretty good.
Yeah, and Rookie of the Year for the ASCS.
Yes,
Tour,
he did get Rookie of the Year. And I was super proud of him.
Yeah, and he won. I think he won a couple of features. The one, I'm not sure if they were ASCS races, but he won somewhere on Canada Day, which is cool. The first Canadian ever to win a feature at I can't remember the track. Yeah, so that was kind of cool. Anyways,
Yeah.
Get back to this stuff. So, when did you get into iRacing? Like, how long have you been doing the iRacing?
This would be my second year. Yeah, the second year. 2 years now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought you'd been around a lot longer than that.
I've had it for a long time. I haven't been this serious into it. Funny thing is the main thing that I really got it for was to paint different race cars. My stepbrother Will, he was into R Factor a lot, and I was like, dude, that's pretty kick ass. I'm gonna try that. So I got R Factor, and he was like, hey, nobody's doing R Factor anymore. We're gonna do iRacing, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll go dip into that for a while. So I've had it for a while. I've just never really been into it racing wise up until about 2 years ago.
Which would have been about the time Dirt came out, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Once they introduced Dirt to iRacing, that's pretty much when I jumped back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you joined our league. I don't know if you were in the summer of the first season, but maybe the fall.
Whenever Braden won the first championship, that's when I came in.
Okay, so that would be the fall. The fall season.
Fall one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one of the veterans of the league.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Braden we've been fighting for position for a long time, so he's a good kid and he's fast for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely fast, so.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead because we're on the topic now. I'm gonna go ahead and ask, even if we're not quite done, because I asked every one of our drivers that come on, and just really to stir up things, because the shorty will tell you that's what I do. But
right.
Who would you say is your biggest rival, like within our league?
Well, I think Roger already knows this answer. Do you know who it is?
No, I'm thinking. I'm as soon as
way to turn that around, Roger.
No,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know. As soon as he says it, I'll probably know. But I
drives a 47 car.
Oh, Garrett.
Yeah.
My first thing was Dylan Westbrook, but of course.
No.
Yeah, Garrett.
Yeah. Me and him, we used to be teammates back in the day, and just kind of fell apart and went our separate ways. And I don't know. I think our driving ability and we're so aggressive where we come from, and we don't want to give each other inches or centimeters or millimeters. And things happen. I respect Garrett. I hope he has the same respect as me, but we're out there to put on a show, and we're out there to get points. So
yeah, that's right.
So
that was the most pointed answer I've gotten so far. So I want to tell you, thank you. Everybody else gives some cop out answer to one of their buddies, and so not that you and Garrett aren't tight or whatever. But that was a true rival. So you get the gold star for giving a truthful answer.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm the type of person that I'll tell you the truth. I ain't scared. That's the way I've always been. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
Well, and I will say I think that's one of the reasons you've been adminning for our races, obviously, and a huge asset to our league. It's. When you admin, it's kind of like you and Andy have that quality where you just bring a level of calm to the race, even when it's not calm. Right. And so I think that attitude, and I think Andy would say he has the same attitude, and I think that's probably why.
Yeah, and that's what when I do the adminning for the GForce, and when I do adminning for my ASCS thing, is I want everybody to have fun. Go out there, put on a good show for the fans, have fun, come back safe. That's all I ask for. Anything between that, that's your driving ability, and that's y'all's money that y'all want to mess up. So that's y'all's deal.
That's right.
But I just want to keep everything happy, fun, friendly. Let's put on a good show.
No, it's a good show. It's an entertaining show, and first couple times I was in one of your races, and and you're talking about, all the fans, we got a full crowd, they're all watching and, put on a good race for them.
Still haven't sat down.
It sounds, it's the whole virtual thing, but you know what, but it gives you that feeling that, I'm in something special here tonight. And, and it is.
A lot of people say, like, why are you so happy? Why are you so, you sound like you're always chipper to do this. And I'm like, cause man, that's what I love doing. I love making people happy. I like coming in there and making everything chill, making everything relax,
Yeah, nothing chills out better, I think, than when some guy's got a big lead and you're threatening to throw him in a tech after the race.
Yeah, I've threatened a few of them when they had a big lead or something in the heat races or a feature. I'm like, all right, 47, I needed you to go to the tech lab. Let's go. I need to check your motor.
That's all.
Keeps it interesting, man. For sure.
It does. By you and Andy are, at the cream of a crop, and I think you're the bar that everybody wants to aspire to get to. So you do a phenomenal job there.
Thank you.
And it's a big part of the league, and it's and I know even in recruiting, and because that spills over, but I know like Bill and Gary when they're doing the recruiting stuff, and they pick up on that stuff, and they've had comments about guys coming in the league about they feel like they're part of something special because it's just not cars driving around. Somebody's talking to them, paying attention, and so no, you've been a super positive effect on the league, and appreciate everything you do for us.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. I appreciate y'all letting me be a part of y'all's team. That's another big thing. I'm shocked and humbled that y'all asked me to be an admin part of y'all's awesome series, and that's one thing I like about this series. It's definitely don't play no favoritism at all.
No.
I mean, our admins, even all of our admins, have been in trouble. I say trouble, we're not really in trouble, but getting our penalties like we're served up like we're supposed to.
Yep.
And that's what I like about our league is everybody. It don't matter who you are, you're getting a penalty. So, I like it.
And I was thinking about it today. I was out driving, picking up cars again, and so I have all the spare time thinking about stuff. And and I was thinking about, all our admins, all the review people, and they're all good people. Like they're all good, quality, decent people, and that comes back, in the fairness and that when you get a penalty, it's been reviewed and reviewed independently and fairly. So it's we've got quality people all through the organization, and
it's funny that you say that because when I got an EOL for I guess 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, last week or whatever, Sean, my teammate, he was like, "What'd you get an EOL for?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. I really don't know." But hey, the committee looked at it, felt like I needed a penalty, so I got a penalty. It is what it is.
And when you said I don't know, is it because I don't know which one of the things that I flagrantly did that I got penalized and caught for, or
exactly? Yeah, I threw that nasty right rear. I didn't even know I hit anybody. I just thought I hit the wall. Probably somebody. It was probably Preston. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, you're usually 5 or 6 spots in front of me, so I don't think it was me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, that's what I told him. I said, man, if I get a penalty, hey, I'm sure I'll deserve it because I probably did something wrong.
Yep.
Sometimes I don't see, because I don't run mirrors or nothing in my car. All I hear is what is in my VR. So, I mean, I can hear cars on the outside of me or the inside of me, but that's all I got. I don't know exactly where they are other than the spotter telling me, hey, outside or inside or whatever. But that's all I got. Just like a real sprint car. So,
but I run a mirror, but it doesn't help me. But it's still, it's still. I always know I've done something wrong when my spotter goes. You can hear the deep breath, and I think I just took somebody out with my right rear. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Do you mean your actual, like your spotter on iRacing, or do you mean somebody on our team?
No, the iRacing spotter doesn't take a deep breath, but like
okay. I was wondering. I was like, I need the spotter pack.
Well, it's you.
If you have a spotter like mine cusses at me for doing some stupid shit. So.
Well,
we cuss at Roger too. We trusted Roger too.
Yeah, they do.
He's like, you dumb shit, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. You told me to go out the outside, so whatever.
Coach Landis usually starts just laughing, and I'm thinking, and then I can hear this group, just taking a deep breath, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess I'm getting reviewed this week. Oh yeah.
Well, we all use push to talk too, so we all hold the button in order to take the deep breath to make sure he hears us.
Right. Exactly. Make sure you get the full effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, you said you're on a team. Did any of your teammates in the league, or was their I rating too high, or are they running gauntlet or anything? Or
Sean is in there. He's my teammate from BFS.
Sean
Bowers.
Oh yeah, Sean's been around forever.
Yep, he's been in there for a long time. The rest of my teammates, they've been running the gauntlet, or they've been running the. Some of the guys that are on my team are from Australia, so when we do the actual GForce Monday night, Tuesday night, they're kind of at work at that point. So it makes it hard for them to do that, but they are running the gauntlet. They are running the recruitment races as well.
They run the charity races too, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
Guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what are their names?
Josh Van Manen Sparky.
Oh, okay.
He's the what do you even call him? The head guy, I guess, of our team.
Okay.
You would put me on the spot now, wouldn't you? Craig Silby.
Craig. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good guys, good runners. Yeah.
Yep. Leon Carver. He's been on there for a while, a little bit too. Ryan Fruget.
Are they all
2 races? I think. What's that?
Are they all Australian?
There's 3 of them that's Australian.
Okay, so
Craig, Leon, and Sam.
Okay, so a question then is: do you run any Australian races?
I do not. I don't stay up that late.
Oh, okay. No, I know it's a really crazy time thing, but
I think most of their races, their league races, would be by like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning for me, and I'm pretty much deuces. I'm out.
Yeah, I hear you. Preston and I are usually hanging out about 2 or 3 in the morning.
No.
Yes,
Roger might get up that early to pee, but
no, I've sent you messages, and you have replied at 1:30 to.
Well, that's because you woke me up.
I asked if I woke you up, and you said no, don't worry about it.
Well, I don't want to make you feel bad.
Oh, now I'm feeling bad.
Don't bring Kevin in. We're interviewing Kevin now. Don't let's not get into this.
I'm sending Kevin a message at 1:30 this morning.
Yeah. And I answered it too.
You'll probably be sleeping in your sprint car.
I was probably nodding off in my sprint car.
Yeah.
Can't get out.
I was probably painting. Probably.
Do you paint when you're in your sprint car?
Yeah, I do everything in here.
That's cool.
Yeah, I used to have another one, or an external one over here, but the wife kind of took that one over and shoved me to the side. So I'm in my sprint car all the time now. So
I wish I had a comfortable seat like that in mine, because I got the same problem. Like I got a MacBook, so it don't run iRacing. So if I got to do anything iRacing related, other than standings and stuff, but like replays or whatever, I got to go downstairs and climb in the rig, and my seat's nowhere near as comfortable looking as that thing.
I do have to get out every once in a while because I start getting cramped up and just being confined in my space here. It does get cramped up in here for a little bit, but like I say, for the most part, it's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I find I don't get cramped up other than my kidneys, and then Sunday night skippies are a challenge. I'll tell you, that's the biggest.
Bet. Being those long races, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We've been trying to get Roger to do endurance racing with us, and he did the one time, but the other times he passed, and he claimed it was because he didn't have time or didn't have the talent. But I really think he just don't want to have to race for 2 hours without peeing.
I don't want to wear a diaper. That's.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, maybe we're done now. I don't know, because we're starting to get into some scary
We've
areas.
gone off the rails a little bit. So
that's all right.
Maybe
That's
we
what
should thank Kevin. We'll thank Kevin, because Kevin, I said it earlier, but you are an absolute asset to the league. You know, we kind of coach our admins to admin like you. So and you know, you and Andy, awesome. And we've got a couple other guys that are real poignant about doing it the right way. And we appreciate you. You know, it wouldn't be the same without you. And it adds to the realism too. We were talking about that, where we've run some races where there was no admin, and it's still fun. But when you've got an admin telling you, you got 8 laps here, top 4, it just adds to that like intensity going right into the race, and it's pretty cool. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Oh yeah, it's fun, man. I like I said, I if I didn't like it, I wouldn't offer myself to do it. So that's what I love about doing adminning races for y'all. I admin races for our team as well sometimes, and I love doing it.
If anybody wants to see a real good time, we're talking about sometimes there's no admins. Come out in the afternoon, the matinee races. We've had in the same race, we've had Andy Patton, Jeff Barker, and Kevin Fry, and poor Gary. Gary's the guy. He's kind of assigned as the admin for that race, but he's got all these guys talking over him because they just can't help themselves but help admin. So you got Kevin in there, you got Andy doing whatever, and it's awesome. It is really, really awesome. So
when Barker was doing it a while ago in the late model race that I was in, he was in the 3rd heat race or something, and I said, "Hey, you want me to take over?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? I'm driving." I said, "Okay." And I started admin, and then I was fixing to start doing it in the BMA, and then I realized he was in there too, and I'm like, he's got it. He's good enough.
Yeah, that's cool. It's excellent. So the other thing too out of that is maybe before next season or just the beginning of the season, we have an admin school, and we'll get a Zoom meeting or a Discord meeting, get all the admins in here, and share thoughts and ideas and let you lead that thing. So anyways, that just came to me as we were just talking about all this.
It's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
It is a good idea.
Yeah. So and I think you'd get instant respect when they see where you're broadcasting from. I mean, that's just the coolest rig going. Yeah. I'm surprised though for that you didn't have like a flag stand in the corner somewhere where you're standing up on the second tier.
Well, see, that was the first thought before the sprint car idea thing, but the whole flag, it just wouldn't fit. It wouldn't fit in my room properly. So, sprint car it was. So
yeah, well, it's awesome, and like just to echo the words of Preston, just can't thank you enough for everything you do, man. It's
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. That means a lot coming from you. Absolutely does.
Well, we appreciate you coming out, Kevin. You're welcome back anytime, buddy. Just let us know, and be sure to catch Kevin. He'll be adminning races throughout the end of this season and into the next. So thank you again. We appreciate you coming out, bud.
I appreciate y'all, everything that y'all do. I appreciate y'all putting on the podcast and inviting me coming in and sharing my sim rig with y'all. And I can't thank y'all enough, and I can't thank my team BFS and the firm enough to provide me some good setups for the Sprint Car League and keep me trucking along.
Well, thanks again, buddy. It's been great, and we got to do this again.
Absolutely, I had a blast. This was awesome.
Thanks, bud.
And welcome back. And I'm telling you, I told you it'd be a good interview. Kevin Fry is a class act, and it was everything I was hoping. His rig was even more incredible than I had pictured it. So I'd seen some photos, but they didn't really capture it. I just him still sitting in that commander's chair there. That was just awesome. So and we were supposed to have, of course, another guest on tonight. Everybody can pretty much guess. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, except Where's Joe? So we don't know,
Yeah, I think it's at this point it's more of a who's Joe and is this guy actually real?
Yeah, I mean, maybe he ran off with what was her name? The kitty lady. The
kitty? Oh, Carol Baskin.
Yeah, Carol Baskin.
The kitty lady. I didn't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, maybe so. Old Joe Exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Exotic. Who knows?
Yeah, I've heard he's had a couple of weeks off work here too, and I was expecting him to be volunteering to come on and defend his name.
Yeah.
But no show. In fact, we actually I think we've done a good job this week of not giving any tells of when we're recording, but I'm going to blow it. So we tried to record this Wednesday night, and Roger and I were both like just up to our ears and other stuff going on. But we had Joe pretty much locked in to come and do an interview, and then just where's Joe?
Where's Joe?
Where's Joe?
Yeah.
And so it happened again tonight. We
Yeah.
sent him a message and said, "Hey Joe, you want to come do the podcast and live up to the hype we've been providing you?" And because we really pumped Joe. We really have done a great job of making Joe sound like a really incredible guy and
a rock star.
Yeah, a rock star. That's a great way to put
Yeah.
it. And just he's not here, so
No.
I don't know.
This is our weekly "Where's Joe" segment.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to need a graphic. I'll flash across the screen right here.
Yeah.
So we'll have to get somebody on. We'll get the graphics team on that when I can get in hold of them.
Yeah. So you were telling a story just a bit earlier about Weed Sport. So the Gauntlet and the Elite Division, they're always a week ahead of us. They were at Weed Sport. So what are all the warnings? Because I only when I first got when it first came out at the beginning of the season, I downloaded it. I could get on the track, but I couldn't get straightened out. It was kind of like Lernerville hitting the guardrail, and that's my experience at Weed Sport. I haven't got to drive around the track yet. So
yeah,
tell us, how was it?
Yeah, well, and that is the truth. It is hard to get on the track, but it's not as hard as you think. So one thing you'll learn is, and you can really see it when the track wears in. And now I'm not. Let me preface this with saying I am not giving anybody permission to just go full bore onto the track, like nobody's coming. But what you'll see when the track starts to wear in is that the cushion doesn't move too far up the track where the pit exit is in the middle of turn, or I guess late into turn 4. So you've got a little bit extra room there to get straightened out and kind of stay high on the track. Or realistically, it seems like what's the best thing to do is make sure there's a gap and shoot low, because everybody comes, even if you're running the low line, typically you're coming out of turn 4 kind of high. So if you can find a gap and shoot low, and so you get down low on the front stretch, you're going to be pretty safe. So there is some cushion that stays there where you're not going to be pulling out in front of somebody. When the track's tacky and you're practicing by yourself, you can't tell that though. So it looks like you're right onto the track, but the cushion never really moves all the way up into where the dirt starts in pit lane, because it is I guess a concrete or an asphalt pit lane. So that's not too bad, and I think I said this before in here, and I'm definitely stealing somebody's joke. It wasn't me that originally said this, but going into turn 1, it's like taking a left turn down an alley. The track tightens, and it feels, and it's not, but it sure feels like a 90-degree corner. So I definitely had some. I got some tips from Shorty on where to start with a setup. So I went in and started practicing with some setups that he recommended using from another track, and I'm not going to give it away because, quite frankly, he would be pretty pissed at me. But that helped. I had to tweak a lot of things, change gears, change some shock stuff, and that got me set up pretty well for like qualifying and heats, because the track is still a little sticky. But come feature time, and I'm going to volunteer Terry for this, and he might be upset, and I'm going to trust that he's not going to give our setups away. But if anybody needs help with, general adjustments, he'll tell you there's an app that he downloads, and I think it's Android only, and he can tell you what this is. It's Terry Landis. You message him on Facebook. I know he'll be happy to help you. But Terry will, if you want to coach, offer Terry $20 and get him in a session with you, and he'll make you better. Because quite frankly, I was not looking forward to this race because I just didn't feel like I had enough practice laps. And so Terry was asking me, what's wrong with the car? And I was being a petulant child, quite frankly. I was like, I don't know, it's just me. I suck at this track. I was just in a bad mood. I didn't want to, even bother. And so Terry worked it out of me, right? Like any good crew chief would do. And so I was telling him what's wrong with the car, and he gave me all these adjustments. And I went out in the in warm up, and I was not happy with the car. And he was like, "Well, what's it doing? What's wrong with it?" And he's like, "Well, you need to go adjust this, change the shock." I mean, he gave me exact values. He was like, "You need to change it to this." And I'm telling you what, that green flag dropped for that feature, and I was comfortable in that car immediately. And so I was I was more impressed with just that than anything. Just like his ability to know. I mean, and it comes from his experience. I know that, but he got me worked in, and I started what I think was 19th, and I had worked my way up to 10th at one point, and I was really struggling, and quite frankly, it was probably more under caution. I think I hit the inside wall in 1 and 2 once, and 3 and 4 once, both times under caution. And so I'd done some damage to my car. I barely avoided a wreck and took a little bit of damage in it and lost my nose wing, which I think a lot of guys will tell you that in some cases when the track's slick, that's not necessarily a terrible thing. I was still doing okay. I fell back a little bit. I think I was back to 12th or 13th, and there was like 3 laps to go, and I hit the inside wall coming out of 4 because there's a gap where you can go into the middle of the track in between 3 and 4. It's like a ramp, so the wall like slopes up and then flattens out, and I hit that ramp and it flipped my car down the track. I felt terrible because we had just come off a green flag. I think we were completing 1 lap since a caution flag, and then I brought another one out, so I just dipped out. I think I finished 19th. Was pretty happy with my performance, but the track is tough when it gets slick. It's as far as iRacing goes, I think it's, as far as being a different track when it's tacky and it's slick, I think it is a massively different track. There's a few tracks like that, but I'm not sure there's any that are as drastic as Weed Sport. So I would recommend that you put some practice laps in. I mean, I'm not a fan of the iRacing generated, worn tracks.
Track wear, yeah.
But it's not a bad idea to go take 100, 150 laps on a completely slicked off track and get a setup going, because now Elite is a little bit different because we do carry over all the way through the night, but still at the end of your Raiders, Rebels, Renegades race on Monday, it's gonna be slick, and that track it's evil when it's slick.
Yeah, so everybody needs to get out there and turn some laps if you haven't already, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know Doug Elkins was saying, because Doug raced the season there and broadcast there, but he's been out in the car on the track and said, boy, they got it down pat. Like it's he couldn't get over just how accurate the track was compared to the real thing. So and speaking of the broadcasters, I think we need to maybe go. That's our next topic, really, is to talk about the broadcast. We've had some. I don't know. It's ever since we went to GForce Esports. And I'm not saying that's the cause of it, but ever since we went there, for various reasons, we've had all sorts of technical problems. And believe it, we're working on it. I know Joe White and Jake are working on it. I know Joe's had all new cabling run, to his place. Try to resolve this. So I watched the races. So we're on Thursday night. I watched the races. But there was another technical problem with the voice. So, but I think that the picture was clear, and I know Jake had some problems on Wednesday night. Just trust us that this is the top of the list right now. That and preparing for next season. But we're working with those guys to get these problems resolved. So it's not that we're not aware of it. We are, and we are trying to address them. So
yeah, that's one of those things that's a back end issue that everybody kind of sees, and there's a few of those, and I know it's easy to feel like it's being possibly kind of neglected. It is a top priority, like Roger said, for us. We have a lot to do to be ready for next season, but it's something that we're aware of. And actively working on. It's a little bit tricky because it's something that we do have to narrow down and figure out exactly what's going on. And we're seeing 2 broadcasters having quite frankly, they're having different issues. And so we're getting feedback from both of them, and then we've got Spencer over that helps us, from GForce.
Yep.
And all of those guys are great teammates to us as far as our league goes. It's just a matter of working together to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
and it's probably a good time for a call out for Spencer Mullen, because Spencer is just absolutely incredible. Always very spontaneous. It's not like nobody's working on this. When we reach out to Spencer, he's all over this from their end, and from a technical perspective, the guy is like, oh, they all are, and they can talk that language. So that, I don't know what's going on. Preston has probably a better idea, but no, they all get it. They can all talk and understand each other, and they just trust us that it's being worked on, and just please be patient, and we'll get there.
We may have just dropped a name that nobody's ever heard, which is quite frankly kind of criminal, because we try to tout our staff as much as we can, and we should, right? Because we have, I use the word staff. They really are. They work a job for us, even though they're not being paid. Yep. And Spencer's one of those too. Now he's obviously affiliated with Oshweekon in ways, but he's just as valuable to us too. He's helped even me with kind of stuff that we've worked on with podcasts and all that. He's always got an ear open for us to kind of work through some things. So
he's the man behind the curtain. So we talk about Clinton and Adam all the time out there, but he's the man behind the curtain making the magic happen. But not only that, but he is super responsive. Like if you send him a message, you're getting a response really quick. So kudos to him, and we'll get through all this with the people we got for sure.
Yep. So, in talking about prepping for next season, I know ILs are high on the list here. We've got some that are getting up there, and so I'm gonna again. I like to do this. I think, even though I'm gonna probably tell you I don't, but I don't know exactly. And the questions come up from a couple of people. How many weeks do we have left in the season at this point?
You're going to ask that, aren't you? And I think it's 3. Put it this way: December 7th, I think, is start of week 13. So that's wherever it is till then. So I meant to check that tonight. I think there's 3 weeks left, but 3 or 2 weeks. But it's getting tight, guys. And I get up on the soapbox, this time of year every year, because I don't want anybody having regrets. We've the IL thing has worked out phenomenal. Our Renegades are down to .20, and if you look at the standings, and again, GForceRL.com, go to the standings, you'll find what your IL is for that division. If you click on your name, you'll see what your overall IL is for the whole league, and all the races you've run, etc. So, and most of the guys are under. But there's a lot of guys, significant guys, that are not, and you will go down. And I'll admit, like we lost a few guys last year that went from Rebels down to Raiders, and I don't know if it was their Eagles or whatever, but they left. And part of me, I don't want to see anybody leave. They're good guys, but there's another part of me saying, well, you know what? If their ILs are up there, then that's not the guys we want in the league. So I don't want to see anybody go. I want to see people get those ILs down. It makes for great racing. It just, if there's a wreck in front of you, slow down. Don't be afraid to use your brake. I know myself, and I've been caught. I'm trying to remember what division it is. I think it's in the gauntlet. I've got a high IL. I got to get it down. And it's just that awareness and, backing off the odd time and not being quite as aggressive. And sometimes it's, go slow to go fast. So anyways, just to be aware of that. And one of the questions came up about IL and the feature and stuff. The IL now with IRLM, Preston's app, that all racing apps or racing laps are counted. So heats, consies, feature. They all those laps and incidents are accumulated in that. So it's right across the board. So just not what you got in the feature. So race clean as often as you can. And I know it's not always your fault. If a guy bangs you from behind, you're getting 2 incident points. It's not your fault. But believe me, trust me, it works out in the wash. A lot of the time you can almost point to which guys are going to have a high IL because you can tell by the way they drive.
Yeah.
So it's just be aware of it, and we've had it before where it kind of sucks, but some guys will ask for an EOL near the end of the season so they can run at the back and keep their nose clean. So we just want to see that IL down. It shows that people are conscious of driving safely, and they're aware of what's going on around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I want to reiterate what you said about it being great racing. I think anybody that's been around our league for a decent period of time has seen the evolution of Renegades. Now, it's always been good racing, but it is so much better now. Now, we have nights where we'll have a few more cautions than we'd like to see, but that happens anyway. That happens in real life. But the quality of racing has drastically improved season after season, and I attribute it specifically to this process we have in place, and that I mean that as no offense to anybody that's ever moved down, because we've seen a lot of those guys come right back up the following season. Yep. But it really is. It was a plan that it was originally just Roger and I started, and then we had the review committee came together, and now we have a big group of guys that work on that. But that can be directly attributed to the quality of our league. And so I know individually it's not fun to get knocked down, but trust us when we say, we've been in that position too. I've been in spots where I had to get my IL down in the last couple of races, and it's worth it. And that what you're saying, Roger, about if there's a wreck in front of you, slowing down, that has been on the review committee's forefront for the last couple of weeks, because we did notice, particularly in the big bodies a little bit more, but really across the league, that we may not have been paying enough attention to guys that would drive through a wreck, because there are occasions when that will work out to your benefit, but sometimes it does not as well, and it causes things to be far worse. And that's not okay, right? That's not an acceptable thing to do. So you got to slow down if there's a wreck in front of you. Try to avoid it. Things happen. But so the review committee is paying more attention to that. I don't know if people may have seen that there's been a couple of penalties over the past week for guys, just pile driving a crash as it happened. And so you are required to do that. But it benefits you as well, right? So if you think about it, if you crash into there's a couple of cars that get collected and you crash into them, you're probably getting a 4X. Well, that's the same thing as losing 2 spots right there. So if you just slow down, let's say the guy that's behind you benefits by you slowing down for that wreck and gets past you. Well, if you're avoiding that 2X, you're still getting those points. You're not losing those points when he passes you by crashing into him. So like you're saying, it absolutely comes out in the wash. So yeah, maybe it's not as fun to finish 12th instead of 10th or whatever it might happen, but if you drive a clean race, if you can get 0 incidents, you're going to get a leg up because you get the bonus points. So and I think we're probably speaking to the minority of guys anyway. But just keep it in mind, because it's important, and it'll help you in the long run, because you can move up through our ladder divisions.
Well, and I think the other thing that needs to be said too is something I have noticed this season particularly. We talk about the Renegades all the time, but the Rebels have improved.
That's very true.
And the Raiders have improved enormously. Seriously, the Raiders division is becoming a very, very competitive and clean division. It's usually newer guys. You expect stuff to be a little higher, but this year it's been the quality of racing in the Raiders division is it's probably the level the Rebels was last season, and the Rebels is it's the max is 225 there now, and it's become it's all good. So it's just if you check it out, take some time, go to GForceRL.com. Check out the standings. See what your IL is. Be aware, because we don't want anybody, we always know if you guys are going to come after us and ask for favors or whatever. it's we'll take your best 8 weeks, or like the 2 drop weeks. If you've got drop weeks eligible, we'll take your 2 worst weeks points. We will manually go in if you're on the bubble and see if we can get it down with your 2 drop weeks. So I mean, we'll do that, but that's where it stops. So just be aware, because don't say anybody didn't tell you, because we've been telling you over and over, telling you in sessions. The admins talk about it. So yeah. Anyways, and I think that's what makes our league as good as it is that's a big part of it.
So I mentioned the tiered system. Do we want to talk about big blocks, or do we want to?
Yeah. So I was just thinking, let's because the rumors, we're getting it from some pretty reliable sources, that they will be out this season. They're in testing, and as long as nothing goes south in testing, they will be out. That might not happen, but we are planning for it. So, and there was a poll put up in the drivers' communication, who is interested in running that, because that will determine how many divisions we're definitely going to, if they're out, we're definitely running them. We're hoping to broadcast them too, as long as we can get enough sponsorship. But we're not sure how many divisions we'll be running. So we need to know how many guys are interested in running those, and what we'll probably do for the first season. Might as well talk about that right now too. And this is all kind of some of this stuff. But what we're talking about doing is basically, from the guys that are interested in running, that we will take the guys. So the Renegades go down to the Rebels, and then the Raiders. We'll take like the top, I'm making up on 25 or 30. They'll be in the A division for the first season. And then the rest would be in a B division, or even possibly a C division, depending on the interest. So it's going to take a season to sort it out.
Yeah.
But, and we're still debating what's going to be open, what's going to be fixed, and all that sort of stuff. So lots of details to figure out. We got time for that. We just want to know if they're even going to be there. So, yeah, just that's coming down the pipe. So we're hoping that that's going to be there. And there'll be a few more polls, and please partake, because that will help. That's a big part of the direction we will determine. It's a community league, and we look for your input to figure out what divisions we want to host. We're going to have to drop some stuff. So, we'll be looking for some guidance about what do we keep. So just keep an eye for those polls coming as well.
Yeah, definitely, and so just Roger kind of alluded to it, but this is intended to be, we've made Monday night our tiered 360. I mean, that's been our bread and butter since the start, and we're looking to do a similar thing with big blocks. Particularly, we're going to be getting a jump start, right? Because our league formed long after wing sprints were around. I say long after they were established by then. Big blocks, obviously, we want to get the jump out of the gate, and we're looking really to form the best big block league. We want to be the big block league on the iRacing platform. So we have some things we've discussed, obviously, but again, it's a community league, so we're going to leave it to some understanding that we get from you guys as well. So. And again, I say this all the time. We want your ideas. We can't, utilize them all because there's certain things that we have to adhere to that we understand is kind of the way we do things and why things have been successful so far. But that doesn't mean not to give us your feedback. So we do want that feedback. Mm-hmm. So if you have ideas, for big blocks or however you want to do it, if that's some kind of unique format for the event or whatever it is, let us know, and we can kind of include you in the formation of that division as well.
Yeah, and so and we're talking about working on the on next season. So don't query us for details, because we're penciling stuff in where we think stuff's going to go, but every other day it seems to change. And Preston will be the first to tell you. Every other day I'm okay, I got this idea. What do you think? Let me run this by you. And some of it's for the following season. It's kind of like how do we want to steer this ship? So, but every other day it's coming up with a new, hey, what about this? what if we did it this way? So, and then after Preston and I kind of sort it out, we'll run it by the executive committee and get their feeling on it. And sometimes that's different. And then like these polls will help us figure out what's going on. I've been keeping stats on all the different divisions this year and car counts, etc. So that will help determine, a number of cautions each one causes. So that's going to help us determine, what do we keep, what goes, what moves around, what is our every night, what's the premium race going to be. So, anyways, lots of things happening, and the busy time. We only have 1 week shut down. Last season we had 2. So we had some time to really kind of work and figure this out. But we know we got to get a jump on it because it all happens fast. And also the other thing we're planning is a few fun things to do that down week when it's, week 13. So we got a couple of things in the bank here that we're thinking of trying out. So just have a bit of fun that week.
I think we should do an endurance race.
Well, that's the one. So we are.
Roger and I have not talked about this yet, so
okay,
anything you hear here is new information to me, at least.
Different endurance. I think we're talking different endurance races, because you're talking, I think, probably like road course endurance.
Real race.
I'm talking like, let's get 60 street stocks out, 100 laps, no cautions, let's go. That's what I want. That's my endurance race. It's an enduro race.
We do that every Thursday.
But we do it. Yeah, but I'm talking about 100 laps.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's just gonna take longer, and people are gonna be more pissed off.
Not the regular 7 cautions every 25 laps.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about like this letter. They did that at our weekend on the Friday nights when we did that last season, and they were. I got to tell you, they're a hoot. And
yeah. So I look forward to seeing the protest list from that event.
Well, there's no protesting at all. It's zero.
I'm out.
So this is what happens, right? We just throw these things, see what sticks to the wall. So, anyways, and if you got some wild ideas for week 13, throw them at us. We'd like to hear from you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's the thing. If there might be some car track combo that everybody wants to run that we're not thinking of. So yeah, let us know.
Well, you know what? We did those trucks at Eldora or something one night. That was a hoot.
Yeah, I didn't get to join you for that.
Oh, you missed out, man.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. You're talking about the off-road trucks.
Off-road trucks.
But
yeah.
you can run the NASCAR trucks at Eldora too. They have a setup for that, like a pre-built setup. And I've actually never run that before. It's been a big push for the truck series on iRacing, but
at one point, Greg Boydell approached me about running, about doing a charity week, and I said, "Hold that off, Greg, but that might be something we could do during week 13." So if he comes up with something like that, so if people have ideas, shoot them at us, because that's the wacky week that we can try all sorts of different things.
Yeah,
some fun and some serious. Like some might be, hey, try all this. Maybe that's something we want to do next season. Or whatever. So yeah, but we want to hear from you.
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely need to run a couple of UMP modified races, I think, and I do wonder, if big blocks come to the service and they're not as good as the UMP. I mean, if they're not the best thing in the service, will we replace the big block series with UMP modifieds and just run UMP modifieds?
So okay, going to my stats, We're pulling 30 street stocks a week. It's competing with the Monday night divisions. So, but we've been pulling, I think, under 20 for pro lates and like 16 or 17 for UMPs. So there's your sign.
Well, no, it's at 7 o'clock.
There's your sign.
No, it's at 7 o'clock. People are busy at 7 o'clock.
Raiders is at 7 o'clock, and we're getting 30 some odd cars coming out.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different.
Yeah, okay.
I suggest let's
okay,
move.
Okay, Eli.
Let's move. Well, that's the problem, right? So let's move UMP. So how many cars did you say we're pulling on for UMPs?
16 or 17.
Well, so then if you move it to 8 or 9 o'clock, you can call it 18 or 19, because then I'd be able to be there.
Yeah, okay, 18 or 19.
Let's make this point. Roger hates the UMPs. He's always hated the UMPs, and I don't know why. That's not my cross to bear. But I asked for these over and over again. We finally got them on the schedule.
Yeah,
and then they got scheduled for a time when I can't be there, and it was intentional. It was intentional.
Well, okay, how many street stocks and prolates have you shown up for? Just asking, because your dad's there all the time.
I'm
just saying.
I finished second in the championship last year last season for pro late models.
Last season, like, what's that got to do with this season? There's your answer right there.
All right.
Your answer right there.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We're gonna end on that note. This is a cold day. All right, everybody. We'll see you back here next week for week 13.
Thanks for hanging in. Those that hung in,
go get your practice laps at Weed Sport. Get lots of practice laps at Weed Sport, and then promptly send Roger a message and ask him never to put that track on the schedule again.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another thing. There will be some polls. I think we need to every class. I think there's tracks that are Weed Sport and the prolates and street stocks. I'm not sure what's going to happen there, but we'll find. We're going to find out. So, anyways, and I just want to thank everybody with the extra long lunches that have hung in this far, and hopefully you'll enjoy the outtakes.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see Joe here next week, but my hopes aren't high.
No, where's
2, 1. What's up, everybody? I'm Preston Cranmer, back here for episode 12 of the Pitside podcast, here with Roger Craig. Tonight we're going to talk to our good friend Kevin Fry. One. All right, everybody. I am Preston Cranmer, as you just heard. Damn it. That's right. 1. What's up, everybody? I'm Preston Cranmer, back.